Liberace and the Nuns of St. Francis, Story 136, Part 2. As Liberace exited the stage, Pittsburgh native Claire Alexander, who had recently returned from touring with Leonard Bernstein, entertained the crowd with more music from West Side Story. What the audience didn't know was that Liberace was not feeling well at all. The room was spinning by the time he finished his shortened performance. After exiting the stage, he approached the general manager of the holiday house, Marvin Ackerman, collapsed and vomited all over his shoes. Liberace was rushed to Columbia Hospital in nearby Wilkinsburg. As his condition worsened, he was transferred to St. Francis Hospital in Pittsburgh's Lawrenceville neighborhood. The doctors there gave him a 20% chance of survival. A priest was called in to give him last rites, and he was told he better get his affairs in order. Every day the newspapers seemed to report that he was being treated for something different. First, it was a stomach ailment, then a viral infection, ear infection, and acute kidney infection. St. Francis released a statement that Liberace was receiving no visitors nor phone calls, and that the hospital's public relations department would handle all inquiries. On December 3, 1963, after 3 weeks in St. Francis, Liberace was released. He told the press he was going home to Hollywood to rest and would resume a light schedule of concerts and television appearances. He said he planned to return to Pittsburgh for a benefit concert at the Syria Mosque to raise funds for the hospital. Before leaving, he signed copies of a new Christmas record he had released. As his car pulled away, hospital administrator Sister Adele exclaimed, "He's a grand person." Paul went to fix snacks for the nuns, and Bubba asked me to make him a drink, no ice. Bubba has found that ice in his drink makes him ask what you get if you drop a piano down a mine shaft. A flat minor. After enjoying their snacks and drinks, the dogs took a quick trip outside to water the flowers, and then came back inside for Bubba to continue his story. Bubba barked that years later, Liberace would claim that one night, near death, he was visited by a nun dressed all in white. She told him she would pray to St. Anthony for him. The next day, he began to start feeling better. While Liberace believed the nun in white had saved him, the Sisters of St. Francis Hospital thought it was their convent soup made of broth and dumplings. The truth may have been slightly different. When Liberace arrived at St. Francis Hospital at 11:10 p.m. that night of the 22nd, blood tests quickly revealed he had high levels of the dangerous dry cleaning solvent in his system. They learned he had fallen asleep while working on his wardrobe and inhaled the toxins for hours. The doctors placed a call to Dr. Frank Mateer. Following World War II, Mateer was involved in research for the University of Pittsburgh and Westinghouse to develop an artificial kidney. Mateer would later laugh that the early dialysis machines were the size of a refrigerator and held together with the elastic taken from bras, Scotch tape, and rubber bands. By 1963, Pittsburgh had only 3 dialysis machines, but with Mateer's help, the doctors of St. Francis got Liberace the help he needed to recover. In the years to come, Liberace would have a shrine to St. Anthony built in his Hollywood home. He was so grateful to the nuns of St. Francis that a lifelong friendship developed. He often gave fundraising benefits to help the hospital. On June 26, 1986, the Liberace lobby was dedicated at the hospital. The performer himself was on hand to help cut the ribbon. Excuse me. Bubba barked at the Holiday House had been one of Pittsburgh's last large supper clubs. Entertainers began charging larger fees, preferring to perform before larger crowds at concerts or in Las Vegas. By the early 1980s, the old venue started getting a reputation for being a hangout for the mob. In June 1988, the Holiday House closed for good and was torn down. A shopping center replaced it, and a Bed Bath & Beyond was built on the site in time. I interrupted Bubba and told him that an old acquaintance of mine, Randy Gilson, found the bar of the venue's Jungle Room at a salvage yard. Made of oak and mahogany, it has pink marble, and brass elephants hold up the handrail. He purchased it and had it placed in his home in Pittsburgh's Mexican War Streets neighborhood. Bubba barked that after 137 years of serving the Pittsburgh region, St. Francis closed its doors in October 2005. After a Mother Superior, Sister Mary Hess, suffered a nervous breakdown, the hospital became a pioneer in the treatment of those with mental health issues. Following her death in 1884, it became the first hospital in Pennsylvania licensed to treat women suffering from insanity. It was also the first Pittsburgh hospital to have a CAT scanner. The hospital was a pioneer in the treatment of those with substance abuse issues. The building received a major overhaul, and in 2007 opened as the new UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. On February 4, 1987, Liberace passed away from complications caused from being HIV positive. Just days before his death, the nuns were contacted and informed that he was dying. They quickly sent a medal of St. Francis to him. They learned later that their friend died with the medal in his hands. 2 days after his death, the nuns of St. Francis held a 45-minute service in his honor. In her eulogy, Sister Adele Miser said, "I can picture him in one of his capes and saying to St. Peter, 'Well, how do you like me so far?'" Bubba finished his story, and the nuns of St. Oscar of Myers barked they needed to go home. After growling at me one final time, they left. I hope this finds you safe, healthy, and sane. And please beware of wiener dogs telling you they can't stop telling nun jokes. It's a bad habit.